Former President Donald Trump returned to Washington, this time under federal indictment for allegedly trying to steal an election. His motorcade going through the city that symbolizes American democracy, arriving for his third arraignment in less than 5 months. The courthouse just blocks away from where the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol unfolded.
So where Trump's appearance took place today is here at the D.C. District Court, and this is significant. Of course, there's a lot of symbolism because you could say that he's returning to the scene of the crime to plead not guilty to these 4 charges that he's facing for attempting to overturn the 2020 election.
We have seen former President Trump indicted on other charges before, but this one is super significant. It is indicting him for trying to basically overthrow the results of an election, and we have never seen an American president try to do that before.
Special counsel Jack Smith asserted that the former president was at the center of a criminal scheme built on lies that culminated in the violence that exploded at the Capitol on January 6th. Today, there were detractors and supporters outside the courthouse. The former president pleaded not guilty to 4 felony counts, including conspiracy to defraud the United States.
It was fueled by lies. Lies by the defendant targeted at obstructing a bedrock function of the U.S. government, the nation's process of collecting, counting, and certifying the results of the presidential election.
Special counsel Jack Smith insists Trump knew he'd lost the election but tried to overturn the results anyway, determined to remain in power, claiming that he spread lies about fraud, though he knew they were false.
This is not just the most significant indictment to date against Donald Trump. It's one of the most significant indictments from the Department of Justice, maybe ever.
As the charges were read today in the same courthouse where many of the Watergate cases were tried, Trump sat flanked by his lawyers. Special counsel Jack Smith was there in the room looking on at the man he indicted. Trump could face a maximum sentence of up to 55 years in prison if found guilty on all the charges he faced today. The hearing was only 30 minutes, but a spectacle nonetheless, as the former president's every move outside the courthouse was followed by cameras.
So this wasn't just a legal event today, it was a political event. Donald Trump is using these indictments not just to raise money, but he hopes that they're going to be politically unpopular.
Trump is also facing 40 federal counts over the retention of classified documents, and has been charged in New York related to the alleged hush money payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels. A Georgia inquiry into election interference is also looming.
This is a persecution of a political opponent. This was never supposed to happen in America. If you can't beat him, you persecute him or you prosecute him.
The lead attorney in this case has been on television, saying Trump's actions are protected under the First Amendment.
This is an attack on free speech and political advocacy, and there's nothing that's more protected under the First Amendment.
The free speech argument is a tough one because any kind of fraud involves speech, words being used. But the idea that there is some First Amendment right to use words that can be criminal doesn't really make a lot of sense.
The indictment also details Trump's pressure campaign to then Vice President Mike Pence to alter the 2020 election results on January 6th, including a phone call on January 1st where Pence said he didn't have the authority to do what Trump was asking him to do. Trump responding, "You're too honest." Pence, now running against Trump for the Republican presidential nomination, turning Trump's legal woes into a campaign opportunity, selling too honest merchandise.
When it comes to the charge of obstructing an official proceeding, meaning trying to make the certification not happen, Mike Pence becomes the critical witness. He's the one who Donald Trump tried to convince not to certify.
Yet for all of his legal troubles, the former president is dominating his rivals and remains the clear frontrunner for the Republican presidential nomination. He's turned the criminal cases into the cornerstone of his campaign.
These are ridiculous indictments. And all they're doing is hoping for massive election interference. That's all they want to do.
The political calendar is now on a collision course with Trump's legal calendar.
The dates are approaching fast and furious. August 23rd, the first Republican debate. August 28th will be the next court appearance for Donald Trump. Everything that's happening in these courts is going to impact what's happening on the campaign trail.
The former president gearing up to face multiple juries, those in courtrooms and those in voting booths.
If this case happens before the election, it will be a jury deciding Donald Trump's fate. If it happens after the election, it may be the American people deciding Donald Trump's fate when it comes to the federal charges, because if he wins, he can likely make these cases go away.
This indictment against former President Trump is really about the heart of democracy. It will go down as a central point in American history.